to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And just like the intro said, my name is Todd Echols, and I am back with episode 2 of Welcome to Guns. So I hope you all enjoyed that first episode that I threw out there last Wednesday. So I thought I'd go ahead and cover this one. Today's topic is, let me look here. I got my notes here, folks. Today's topic is safety and things to consider. So if you're new to guns, there's a lot of things to consider. You're going to go out and you're going to purchase this firearm. Now, we'll get into how to purchase one. We'll get into what it's like at the store when you first go into a gun store. But there's some things to consider maybe before you get your firearm. Maybe some things that, I'm not trying to sway anyone from owning a gun, but there are things to consider about am I in the good place in my life? Am I in the right place to actually own a firearm now? And if so, what do I need to have in place at home to keep that firearm? Because when you purchase a gun, you need to be responsible for it. There is a level of responsibility that comes with owning a firearm and bringing one into your home. So a couple of the questions you can ask yourself right now is, am I married? Do I have kids? And this you don't have to, you probably know the answer to that. You don't have to ask yourself that, but that is something to consider. Are there kids in the home? Kids, all ages of kids, young kids especially. And what am I going to do with this gun? Where am I going to keep this gun? What is my purpose for getting this gun? And you don't just want to buy a gun and go and throw it in the closet. And I know there's people that do that. And you have to be very careful. You got to be very responsible. When you have small kids in the home, children in the home, like all kids, we were all kids once, right? And mom and dad left us at home by ourselves for the first time. What did? We went and rifled through their stuff. Typically, me, being a little fat kid, I went right for the pantry and dug out the chocolate chips. I was looking for chocolate chips. I was looking for sweets. I was looking for all that stuff that I wasn't supposed to have. I'd eat that stuff, and then my mother would go to make like cookies down the road a few weeks later, be like, where's all the chocolate chips? And I'd be like, they were good. So that's what kids do, is they will go and they will rifle through stuff. They will look for stuff. If you're going to get a firearm, you have to be able to lock it up. Now, there's lots of different ways to do this. Some people get a small handgun type safe that they will put the gun in, and they will lock it in there. When you're not using the gun, if you're not to the point of carrying it yet, which I'm going to assume that you're not, and we don't even know if that is your ultimate goal. So we'll get to that point in upcoming episodes, but you just need to have a good place to lock it up in a safe that is locked, that is under your bed, that is up high up in the closet, that kind of stuff. You need to probably store the ammo and the gun separately for right now. So if somebody does get a hold of it, they don't have the two things that can go together. Now, you can buy the little tiny safes, or you can invest in a big safe. And I'm going to tell you right now, a big gun safe is not a bad investment, because I'm looking at mine right now. Not only do I keep firearms in mine or some ammo in mine, but I also keep titles to my vehicles, birth certificates, passports, all that stuff that you don't want to just keep laying around the house. These safes, a lot of them are fire rated to a certain extent, and it could save your bacon. You can store more stuff in there besides firearms. So there is a good reason to have a safe, but that is also where your firearms should be kept, out of hands of little people, okay? And not just little people. And I'm not trying to say everyone, I'm going to get into this. We're going to talk about some adults, right? Some adults aren't in the right frame of mind. So we have some adults have Alzheimer's. Some of them have mental struggles. And if that is you, and if that is not you, but if that pertains to your household, and there's someone in your household that has those issues, right? You may think, well, I don't have little kids. I shouldn't have to lock my gun up. you still need to be responsible for said firearm. You need to lock it up and keep it out of the hands of people that might have some problems with it, or maybe they shouldn't be handling the gun, the firearms at that time. Lock it in the safe. Keep the combination private. Hide the key, whatever that is. These are things we need to consider when purchasing a firearm. And as far as as far as safety is concerned, you need to look at your living situation. And for example, I have an adult son, and he's pretty young. He's a pretty young man. He's 20 years old. And, legally where I'm at, he can be gifted a firearm. So he's got guns. He's got a handgun and whatnot. And he's trying to leave home and go out on his own. He was, this just happened not too long ago. He was struggling. He was kind of like looking for jobs, and he thought maybe he would go to work in like mining, for some kind of mining company. Maybe he'd go mine. There's lots of mines around where I live that he could access and possibly go to work and make good money, right? Well, you have to look at some of your living situations. So in Idaho, where I'm located, and I don't know about your states, you cannot have a firearm in what they call man camps. So man camps are logging camps or mining camps or anything like that. That is, you cannot have guns. And that's not just through the work source. That's not just through the employer. That is actually state law. So I had to have a talk with him and say, like, you can go, that's good money, but you won't be able to have your firearm with you, or that is illegal for you to have in one of those man camps. So he's like, oh, what I'll do, Dad, is I'll have a place that when I'm off work, he'll have a place that he can come live in town or whatever, wherever he's near. And he's like, I'll just bunk with some buddies of mine. Like we'll split the rent like 4 or 5 ways, and there'll be a bunch of people in this house or this apartment, and we'll just do that. And then I did point out the fact, though, that your firearm will be at that house then when you're not there, and it might be there for weeks at a time, depending on, if you're on 12 days off 4 or whatever it is, your gun's going to be there. It's going to be there. And granted, hopefully it's in a safe, hopefully it's locked up, but you're away from it for so long, and you may trust your buddies, but you trust the people. Do you know that all the people that they know? Do you know all the people that are going to be going in and out of that little house or that little apartment, and your stuff is there and you're gone for 12 days at a time? So, and I'm not discouraging people to not own a firearm, but these are the type of things that you need to consider when you own a firearm. And some people are just like, well, I'll just leave it in my car all the time. Oh, no, that's a bad idea too, as far as for thieves and stuff. And that's another reason you actually need to lock the firearm up, right? Because if someone were to break into your house, you're not going to get in trouble if they break into your house. You're not going to get in trouble if they steal your stuff, right? Even if they steal your firearm, you're not going to get into trouble. If they take that gun out and they commit a crime with it, you're still not going to get into trouble because you didn't offer them that gun and tell them to go commit that crime. They broke in and took it, which is obviously illegal. But if you leave it just laying around, someone breaks in and gets it, now you have to live with the fact that someone might be committing a crime with that gun. Worst case scenario, somebody gets killed because of that gun. Someone murders someone with your firearm. That is something that you want to avoid, obviously. And if you find that out, then you have to live with that. Like maybe that person would still be alive if I had locked my gun up and didn't just leave it laying around my house, right? These are some of the things that you need to consider when you're getting a gun. Like, where am I going to keep it? Who's in my house? Can the people I'm around, are they safe to be around firearms? And do I need to lock it up? That kind of situation, right? That's what you need to think about. That's what you need to think about going into this. And if you look and you go, my situation's really not good. Like, I can legally have a firearm, but maybe my roommate, there's a problem there, or I don't trust them, then maybe you need to reevaluate your roommates. You need to reevaluate your living situation, right? These are some things that need to be looked at, but just some things going in to owning a firearm that you might pay attention to. And then we're going to talk about this as well in the next upcoming episodes. But as you go into purchasing that firearm and you deem that you can do this and that you can keep this thing safe and that you can lock it up and everything's good in your world, and you get this gun and you bring it home, you need to also then look at some safety training. And, as long as the kids are old enough to understand, you need to look at some safety training with your kids, with your spouse, with your loved ones, with your whoever's in the house. They need to know the rules. They need to know how to safely handle the gun. Or if they're kids, they need to know what not to do and what to do and what to do if they see one. That's just basic firearms safety for kids type stuff, right? And it would behoove everyone, if your family, to know how to work the gun and know about it, and all the stuff pertaining to the firearms. You just don't want any accidents. You don't want anything bad happening. Okay, and there's some stuff to think about moving forward. So I hope that helps someone out there. We're going to keep proceeding with the next episode on Wednesday. Coming up, we'll talk about some other stuff, and we're just going to keep kind of going down the list. Again, if this helped you, that is fantastic. If you think it would help someone else, go ahead and share the podcast with them. Share it on your social media. Post that link up there, man. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. Okay, I don't have a lot on YouTube, but that's quickly going to be a thing. I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Rumble. So check that out as well. And again, if you have any questions for me, if you got any questions you want to ask, we'll keep you anonymous, whatever. Feel free to call me. Feel free to text me. Area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. And then if you look in the podcast description as well, you will see that there's also an email on there as well. You can even shoot me an email with a question you have or a statement you have about the podcast. So, again, these podcasts, if you want to listen to them, fantastic. I think everyone, even if you're a seasoned firearms owner, I think can get something out of these episodes, out of this Welcome to Gun series. I really do. And if you enjoy it, great. Especially if you're new. If it's not for you, we offer other podcasts as well. So just stay tuned, because I have a training podcast. I also have just my main regular podcast where we talk politics, have fun with the guys, talk about new guns, that kind of stuff. And, I got a little something for everyone at 3 podcasts a week. I got this one on a Wednesday. I have another one on Monday. And then I have one that I release sometime over the weekend, typically Sunday, sometimes it's Saturday. Just subscribe, man. Subscribe, and you'll get access to all this stuff. I'll tell you what, though, everyone have a great rest of your week, and I will see you at the next episode. Bye.